It was evening. The master was sitting on the floor of his room with the devotees. He was talking to them about yoga and the 6 centers. These are described in the Shiva Samhita. Master. Ida, Pingala and Sushumna are the 3 principal nerves. All the lotuses are located in the Sushumna. They are formed of consciousness, like a tree made of wax. The branches, twigs, fruits, and so forth, all of wax. The Kundalini lies in the lotus of the Mooladhara. That lotus has 4 petals. The primordial energy resides in all bodies as the Kundalini. She is like a sleeping snake coiled up, of the form of a sleeping snake, having the Mooladhara for her abode. To M. The Kundalini is speedily awakened if one follows the path of bhakti. God cannot be seen unless she is awakened. Sing earnestly and secretly in solitude. Waken, O Mother, O Kundalini, whose nature is bliss eternal. Thou art the serpent coiled in sleep in the lotus of the Mooladhara. Ram Prasad achieved perfection through singing. One obtains the vision of God if one sings with yearning heart. M. Grief and distress of mind disappear if one has these experiences but once. Master. That is true. Distress of mind disappears forever. I shall tell you a few things about yoga. But you see, the mother bird doesn't break the shell until the chick inside the egg is matured. The egg is hatched in the fullness of time. It is necessary to practice some spiritual discipline. The Guru no doubt does everything for the disciple. But at the end, he makes the disciple work a little himself. When cutting down a big tree, a man cuts almost through the trunk. Then he stands aside for a moment and the tree falls down with a crash. The farmer brings water to his field through a canal from the river. He stands aside when only a little digging remains to be done to connect the field with the water. Then the earth becomes soaked and falls of itself. The water of the river pours into the canal in torrents. A man is able to see God as soon as he gets rid of ego and other limitations. He sees God as soon as he is free from such feelings as I am a scholar, I am the son of such and such person, I am wealthy, I am honorable, and so forth. God alone is real, and all else unreal. The world is illusory. That is discrimination. One cannot assimilate spiritual instruction without discrimination. Through the practice of spiritual discipline, one attains perfection by the grace of God. But one must also labor a little. Then one sees God and enjoys bliss. If a man hears that a jar filled with gold is buried at a certain place, he rushes there and begins to dig. He sweats as he goes on digging. After much digging, he feels the spade strike something. Then he throws away the spade and looks for the jar. At the sight of the jar, he dances for joy. Then he takes up the jar and pours out the gold coins. He takes them into his hand, counts them, and feels the ecstasy of joy. Vision, touch, enjoyment. Isn't it so? M. Yes, sir. The master was silent a moment and then went on. Master, those who are my own will come here even if I scold them. Look at Narendro's nature. At first, he used to abuse my mother Kali very much. One day I said to him sharply, "Rascal, don't come here any more." He slowly left the room and prepared a smoke. He who is one's own will not be angry, even if scolded. What do you say? M. That is true, sir. Master, Narendra is perfect from his very birth. He is devoted to the ideal of the formless God. M. Smiling. Whenever he comes here, he brings along great excitement. Sri Ramakrishna smiled and said, "Yes, excitement indeed." The following day was Tuesday, the Ekadashi day of the lunar fortnight. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, and the master had not yet taken his meal. M, Rakhal, and other devotees were sitting in the master's room. Master to M. One should fast on the 11th day of the lunar fortnight. That purifies the mind and helps one to develop love of God. Isn't that so? M. Yes, sir. Master. But you may take milk and puffed rice. Don't you think so?